What's going on, everybody? Welcome to MVP. I can't kick the can down the road any further. Unfortunately, it's time to talk about weapons. Now, let's go to the synopsis of weapons because I think it provides some important context. But before we do, let's take a look at the poster. Right on the poster at the top, there are written some words. Those words are spoken by an AI child in the opening scenes of this movie. Those words explain the first 40 minutes of this film. There's no reason for the first 40 minutes to exist because it's right there in less than a minute, read to you by an AI child's voice. So we're not off to a good start. 35 minutes into this movie, I was staring at my watch waiting for something to happen. Now, this was against everything that I heard about this film. It is Tales from the Dark Side. It is Twilight Zone. It is smart. I can't find it anywhere. Now, I'm going to get ratioed to death, but I ask you one favor. Please leave comments. Let me know what was good about this film. So maybe I can have an understanding. Because the reviews, okay. It's great acting. There's good actors. It's shot well. I agree with all of those things. But that's all there is. No one is talking about the substance of this movie because there isn't any substance to this movie. And to prove that, let's look at the official synopsis and break it down very quickly. And this tells you everything you need to know about Agatha all along. About Weapons, the movie. Weapons is a horror mystery film directed by Zach Kreger. Let's start right there with horror mystery. There's no horror in this at all. Maybe for a young child. There's no psychological horror. There's no basic horror. There's no real gore horror. It's more comedy horror, if anything. As for a mystery, no. It's explained on the poster, and you would know witchcraft is involved if you watched any trailer where the kid was crossing a salt line and there's zombies standing there. So you know there's witchcraft involved. So the entire movie is summed up between the poster and any trailer you watch. There's no additional substance needed. Because any bit of substance that they added to this film is a plot hole. Let's break it down. So it's set in the small town of Maybrook, Pennsylvania. The story begins when 17 children from the same third grade class vanish simultaneously at 2:17 a.m. Let's stop there for a second. 2:17 a.m. That should mean something. Well, guess what? It doesn't. So let's move on. Captured on doorbell cameras running into the night with arms outstretched. Now, this is a plot device they're using, and they're using Ring doorbell cameras. I'm sure it's in an affiliation with Ring that captured two children running from their homes into the night. At least that's the footage that we get to see initially. Now, the problem with this comes later on in the movie. Near the end, when all these children run to the same home. Now, I don't know if this is just another plot hole or just lazy directing, but every house these children pass have Ring cameras. This small community, maybe it's about a mile wide. These kids aren't running more than a mile at most. And I counted at least a half dozen Ring doorbell cameras after these kids have packed up and going directly to the same house. So any kind of police work, any type of work from the feds, any type of detective work whatsoever would have blown this case open in 2 hours, maybe 3. And that is the entire movie. It tears apart the entire movie because it makes no sense. There's no intelligence in this film. So now let's get into the next sentence. The only student left behind is Alex Lilly. Now, little Alex, he was left behind, which means the police and the FBI are sure to be watching this kid, maybe not as a suspect, but maybe as the next potential victim. Maybe the door was locked. Maybe he couldn't get out. Maybe something prevented him from getting away. You would figure the cops and the feds would want to watch this kid. Nah. His parents go missing. Not important. Now you can say, well, this is months and months later or years later. No, this isn't even a month later. And this kid is the biggest plot hole. Because his house, all the windows are suddenly covered in newspaper. And this is not a trailer. This is a beautiful home in a nice, small, rural community, surrounded by other houses in the middle of an intersection where it is the dead end in front of you if you are driving down the street. There is no way to miss the newspapers all just left behind the car in the driveway, or the ones all covering the windows. You couldn't miss this. Now the excuse could be, well, they don't come out. Well, the kid goes to school every day. His parents have now disappeared. And to top it all off, this little kid is walking miles a day to school, to home, to the store to go buy 50 cans of soup a day, which I don't know how this 40-pound kid is carrying all these cans of soup every day, and no one seems to notice anything strange. Like I said, this kid is a walking plot hole. So if you can explain to me where anything is good or justified or not a huge plot hole, please leave it in the comments. Please, I'm begging you, because everyone I talked to in real life thought this movie was the dumbest thing. Moving on. The only student left was Alex, and his teacher, Justine Grady, played by Julia Gardner, and grieving father, Josh Brolin, are grappling with suspicion and fear. Now, they're all suspicious of this teacher. For what reason? I don't know. She seems to have an alibi. She seems not to have any means to do anything to these children. Nothing. They try and throw it in an alcohol problem, saying, oh, that could do it. Well, you show me how this 110-pound woman is managing to wrangle 17 children at exactly 2:17 a.m. and hide them, and still manages to stay in this town after she got what she wanted. I don't know. It's stupid, like I said. Josh Brolin, no better. He sleeps in his kid's bed. That's as much meaning as we would get to his desperation as a father to get his child back. Because I know myself, I would burn that town down to get to my child. And it isn't even hard. He goes to one other house to see if they have a Ring doorbell camera to see where their kid went so that he can try and triangulate the trajectory. The cops should have done this when they canvassed the town. No one bothered. So if it was that inept, I'm sure the fathers of these parents would have taken matters into their own hands and gone and got their children back. And this movie never needed to happen because the events that transpired would have been resolved the same day. So, the non-linear narrative unfolds through multiple perspectives, including Justine's, Archer's, a cop named Han Solo Jr., and a drifter named Meth Head. A dark supernatural force tied to Alex's mysterious Aunt Agatha is revealed. When you say revealed, let me break down how they reveal this. Besides for in the trailer when we know there's a witch because of the salt line and the zombies, in the film it is outlined to us not by some deductive reasoning, but because a zombie walks out of the house to the teacher's car where she is drunk, passed out inside. And instead, and the zombie gets in the car, lops off a piece of her hair, and takes it back to Agatha, so Agatha can cast a spell and send Wong, Dr. Strange Wong's, after her as a zombie. For what reason? Don't know. Because you could easily take one of the brain drained kids, throw it in her trunk, call the police, and boom, problem resolved. Or, better yet, just get rid of her. She's passed out drunk. Put a piece of tape over her mouth, take her in the house, do your hoodoo, voodoo, woodoo, and now you can frame her for everything. Now, Agatha is not trying to lay low, much like Catherine Hahn plays her in the younger version. She's not trying to lay low, even though they're trying to tell you she's trying to lay low. Because nothing about her plan is subtle. In fact, if any of these cops had an IQ over room temperature, she would have failed immediately. So, the stupidity in this movie is not just, oh, there's a plot hole. And I can respect plot holes. They happen. Sometimes things are missed. This movie is Agatha all along plot hole the movie. That's what it is. There's nothing to build upon because everything crumbles instantaneously. The film blends horror, dark comedy, social commentary, exploring themes of grief, paranoia, and social trauma. No, it doesn't do any of those things. And if you can show me where, maybe dark comedy at the end, maybe a little dark comedy at the end that makes no freaking sense, maybe, or dark comedy, in fact, that's it. I just figured out what the dark comedy is. Making someone pay money to go see this film. That's dark comedy. Social commentary, you know what? Now I'm starting to see it. People are so desperate for a good movie that they will say this is a good movie. That says a lot. Social trauma is watching it. With a shocking climax that ties the mystery together, no. While leaving lasting questions about recovery and truth. None of that is even remotely true. To say this is a B movie would be a massive compliment to it. This is something that could have been done better at a film school for the disabled who are trying to learn to use iPhones. It's horrible. This movie, I will give it a 2 out of 10. And I'm only doing this because I think that Josh Brolin and Julia Garner actually did a decent job not cracking up and leaving this film. Because you could pay whatever amount of money you want. If you have to do something this stupid to earn a paycheck, I have to respect that. And I will give them each 1 point. So this is a 2 out of 10 movie. What did you guys think of Weapons? And honestly, please just don't parrot your favorite reviewer. I want to hear exactly what you liked, what worked for you, what you disliked, and can you plug any of the 5 or so plot holes I gave you? Because I could easily give you 20 more. And we might even do it. If I get enough comments, maybe we'll even do a video breaking that down. And I will eat humble pie if I watched this wrong. It's up to you guys. Let me know. Until next time, hopefully movies get better. Take care.